Last year, he gave you Quentin Johnston, and you all laughed at him. The reason I know that is because I laughed at him. We are joined today by none other than one Mr. Mason Dodd, Fantasy Flock himself. We are going to be drafting over on Underdog Fantasy, and Mason has no idea who any of these people are. If you told him Jadarian Price was a person, he'd be like, I guess Jadarian Price is a person. He's on the. Are you at a vineyard in California? Are you in Sicily? Where are you at right now, Mason?
Yeah, I'm in California. I'm
Yeah,
full blown vacation mode. I'll be here for a couple months, and I'm not ready to grind until the NFL draft.
Look, I love that for you. I actually get great enjoyment out of this. Like I want to grind my fingers into a nub, deciding if Carnell Tate is good or not. How injury prone is Jordan Tyson really? And I think this will be an instructive exercise. Actually, before we get into it though, I want to ask you, I mean, just how much did you enjoy Quentin Johnston being like the most impactful fantasy player for the first month of the season? I could not watch a Chargers game without thinking of you. Just like, I can't believe the QJ stuff is hitting like this. I was stunned.
It was the literal best because if you remember, like in the preseason, he got like carted off and it looked like it was.
I thought he was dead. Mason, yeah. I was drafting Keandre Lambert-Smith because I was like, dude, Quentin Johnston broke his spine. It's over.
Well, I didn't see it live. We were actually, it was the night of the Flock League draft, and we were all sitting around, and it's like the most stressful night of the year for me, making sure everything's set up correctly. And then everybody just immediately tells me like, oh, QJ's carted off, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, there's my most invested into player in the year, RIP. And then
it was right, dude. It was right. He had the, I mean, like, I'm not trying to make light of this, but dude, he had the fencing response. Like it was over. And he was not practicing. We were nothing. I don't even know if you've seen this, but I'm gonna, this is how deep and dark the QJ rabbit hole went around here. You want to scroll the F down for Keandre Lambert-Smith.
Oh my fucking God.
I'm about it. I'm about it.
This is too good.
Someone slap the Keandre Lambert-Smith button. The first KLS reception, I was like, wow, he is the greatest wide receiver of all time. Is the 9th round too early for KLS? People are asking.
4.37 40, played at Auburn. This is Darius Slayton vibes.
My thesis is at least not that he is Jerry Rice's kid. I was all over this guy. Actually, with real US dollars.
I'm going to be completely honest, and this is probably I'm going to embarrass myself a lot tonight, but I've never heard of him.
I mean, he never played. He played in the preseason. I actually, you know what? Honestly, it's actually not true. Keandre Lambert-Smith, because the Chargers gave up at the end of the year, he did actually score a touchdown in week 17. So had I had a team, yeah, he did. He did score a touchdown on one of his 12 targets, which is, I mean, it's just incredibly good content. So Mason, as it were, I mean, he's in California, he's on vacation, he's enjoying himself. He did do a redraft video over on the Fantasy Flock channel. So if you're very curious about his OG thoughts, and we got the 101, so this is nice. At least we'll be able to set this up very easily here. But the idea is pretty simple. I mean, actually, I'd like to have you guess some of the ADPs of guys that are just have like a total random range. Let's see. First one. Let's go. Luther Burden. What do you think is an appropriate spot for Luther Burden?
So I've seen on Twitter people spazzing about his yards per route run, blah, blah, blah. If you go all in all, like there's this one little tool we have on our site called like the range of outcomes tool, pulls it in, sets boundaries for like, oh, this age season, this many receptions per game, this many yards per game, this many touchdowns per game. He had a bad rookie season. Obviously at the very end when he got on the field, he played well, but I'm going to guess that I'll be underweight Luther Burden this year.
Oh, you are for sure going to be underweight Luther Burden. Do you know who the 101? I mean, do you have a strong opinion on
I saw Kayshon. I would be fine with just taking Bijan here and locking in the running back before we know more about the depth charts post NFL draft and free agency.
Oh, I mean, actually, maybe this is just a more interesting question. And I guess I don't know exactly how you drafted all of your teams last year, but obviously the story of the season from, I mean, each of the last 2 years, 2024, 2025, has been, running backs are fully back, and not just running backs, but old running backs, dusty running backs, the older, the better. There was not as much of a change in ADP last year. There was a little bit, but nothing like it is now. Running backs are like the 13th running back is off the board by the end of the second round. Like people have decided the era of the wide receiver is over and the age of the running back has begun again. Just kind of how does that strike you from like a game theory perspective?
So I have not seen a single draft board this year, and I'm just going to take a guess that. Do you remember 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, every single person and their mom thought they were geniuses talking about the dead zone of running backs, that if you drafted a running back in round 5,
buddy, I invented being the genius in the dead zone, of course.
Well, I ended up making a lot of money in these underdog drafts by drafting running backs in those rounds. And I would guess that it's almost now going to revert back to where people were pulling that data from like 10 years ago, where whenever like the year Mike Davis was going in round 5 and that profile back. So if all the running backs get pushed up to rounds 1 and 2, it probably goes back to the wide receivers in rounds 3 through 7 are the smash values. And we'll like, I don't want to say zero RB, but true hero RB, where you take one running back in the first 2 rounds and then don't take another until round 9 is probably back.
So the profile of the running backs who are getting picked up, like really jamming up an ADP, it's maybe not exactly the same as it used to be, where like Jordan Howard would be a 3rd round pick, Mike Davis, guys like that, or guys just clearly on the downside. But a lot of the guys who are getting pushed up are what I would call very fragile profiles. Like not like poor fantasy outcomes in terms of like they can't score touchdowns or anything like that, but it's old guys, right? Guys, I mean, there are literally multiple running backs who are over the age of 30 who are going, in these. I mean, actually, there's 3. McCaffrey, Barkley, and Henry are all 30 already, or going to turn 30 in the middle of the season, going in the first 2 rounds. And then you've got like Jacobs with the knee injury. You've got Breece Hall. Like, what team is Breece Hall going to be on? Is Breece Hall going to be a Jet? Is Breece Hall going to be a Chief? Is he going to be a Saint? Like, who knows? Chase Brown. I'd actually be curious your thoughts on Chase Brown, because he's such a clear timeshare guy, but the efficiency has been so good for 2 years. I kind of lean out on Chase Brown, but maybe I could be wrong.
I mean, I think if he has the same situation this next year, he's a smash, but I think he's at risk to have somebody added to the backfield this offseason.
He's super at risk. It's a pretty bad running back class in terms of free agents, but actually rookies. Good free agent. Yeah, bad in terms of rookies. But what that will do is that kind of artificially like is going to move the class down as a whole. So like the 5th best running back in the class might be a 4th round pick, which would be affordable for the Bengals and pretty bad for Chase Brown. That is a huge value on Trey McBride here. McBride is basically like a 1-2 turn pick.
Okay, I was going to say it's weird seeing him go back to back with Bowers.
It is. I'm pro both of those guys. I mean, Clint Kubiak has got to be that's got to be about as good of a hire as you could possibly have imagined. But I also bought the Hopium. All right, we're up. I have Rashee Rice ranked here.
Or no?
I don't know. No, I don't think he is.
Then let's take him.
Let's take Rice, and then you choose any of these running backs: Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Breece, Ken Walker, Bucky, any of them.
I would go Walker in terms of just the Charbonnet injury. I know, obviously.
No, I would too. Yeah. I think he's got like the best combination of he could stay with the Seahawks and just be nutted out because Charbonnet is hurt, or he leaves a team that he literally just won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP with to some team that gave him the absolute bag to totally feature him. The reason why I think Rashee Rice is not going to be suspended is, one, I think we would have heard a little bit more from it, and there's been nothing. And after that initial, and like, obviously I root for the Chiefs and I hate this stuff. Like, I want them to only draft 4.0 GPA, like guys who have, it's not very fun to root for guys like this. Yeah. But after the wife, or the mother of his child, posted this, she deleted it on Instagram, and I don't know what that means, but there's been no criminal anything. That doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yeah.
But as of right now,
NFL PR is very good at making things go away.
They are. Which is like, it's shitty and it sucks. And I don't think anyone, like, that aspect of being a fantasy football analyst honestly sucks. Like, but it just kind of is what it is. And the whole deal with Rashee Rice is, like, everyone knows he's not that good of a receiver. He just is in the perfect offense to get these scam, unethical fantasy points. But just because you don't like it you can't stick your head in the sand and pretend that it's not true.
Yeah. Can I tell you my favorite pick in the first 2 rounds?
Yes, you can.
Jeremiah Love. I think we're going to get a discount on him because of Ashton Genty last year.
Because of Ashton Genty, and if you really look at it, it's not like Genty was bad. He just played for the Nepo baby Raiders. Yeah. Which,
and,
I mean,
and not all the landing spots, but there are decent amount of good landing spots in the top 10 picks.
I mean, it's so funny. Like, he's just a low enough tier of player, but behind Genty, behind Zeke and these guys as prospects, that you're so right. Instead of being drafted by potentially the Titans or the Giants or the Browns, instead he could be drafted by Kansas City, Cincinnati, Dallas, in between 10 and 15 instead of between 5 and 10, which is very unfair to Ashton Genty. But
can you give me your take real quick on Boutte?
I will click. Given that I think the wide receiver room is going to be the exact same as it was last year. And as everyone got healthier around him, his results got worse.
I would never take Luther Burden here.
I really like Luther Burden, but that's just a core part of my personality.
Yeah, I would take the rookie wide receivers incoming before I would take Burden.
Would you take one of the rookies or Waddle?
Up to you.
Let's do.
If we were going to take a rookie, I'd like Lemon.
Let's do Waddle on this team, and then we can take another one, or we can take one of these really sketchy rookie running backs, second year, Scadaboo, Henderson, Harvey, Judkins.
What's the Scadaboo health outlook?
I mean, theoretically, he's healthy. There's been no setbacks. There's been no setbacks or anything reported on him. But I think the same is true with Scadaboo and with Judkins, which is they suffered that really weird injury that Tony Pollard had, the fracture where you have to have the tightrope procedure, where sometimes guys come back from that and they're fine. And then sometimes some guys come back from that and they're like never the same. Like Mark Andrews, never the same after having that procedure.
Yeah, one thing that I have been horrible about literally every single year, and I tell myself it's going to be different every year for the past 5, is drafting the guys early in the offseason coming off significant injuries, thinking that I'm getting some great discount, and then all of a sudden they just drop in ADP by 3 to 4 rounds once OTAs start.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I generally have been a big injury pessimist in fantasy football. I'm just like, football is hard enough as it is. Guys get hurt in the season. I don't want to draft guys who are already hurt. Last year, the guys who were coming back from like horrible injuries were all smashes. Like Christian Watson returned from a torn ACL. Christian Watson, this guy who couldn't stay on the field ever in his life, returns from an ACL tear in 7 months. And there are some pretty high profile guys coming back from injuries this year. Malik Neighbors, Patrick Mahomes.
The Neighbors injury was real bad, wasn't it? It didn't take him a while to get surgery after.
According to these Twitter doctors, and I mean, I don't know how much you ever want to put weight in them, but he's still not fully like he's like way behind where he should be. He's still wearing a brace. He's still he had a public appearance not that long ago where he had a crutch, which is like that seems really bad. Like it's February.
Yeah.
So I never want George Kittle is coming back from an Achilles injury. Like
I assume Kittle's dusted at this point with the Achilles being that late in the season.
He's still expensive in these drafts. I mean, he's the 13th drafted tight end off the board.
I think the most interesting players, in my opinion, are the guys that I've never seen this happen in fantasy football that I can ever remember. What is a historical comp for Brian Thomas? For him to be legit phenomenal as a rookie to being
like
garbage.
You remember Michael Clayton? You're probably too young. Yeah. I actually, you know what? I can run this filter, and I think you can do this on the Flock website, can't you? Where you can do the historical filters.
Not for multi-seasons.
Okay. Because I've ran this filter before. I actually know exactly how it works. And it's if you run the multi-season filter, it's actually not as bad as you think. And I'll run it after we
real quick. I would never take Parker Washington here.
So starting the offseason, I was like, come on, man, he was so good. And then I'm like, Davis, wisen up a little bit, bro. Wisen up a little bit.
They took Brian Thomas round 1, Travis Hunter pick 2,
Travis
and then
Hunter round 2.
Kobe Myers.
What about Michael Wilson? What about Michael Wilson versus round
Michael
one,
Wilson was one of my most drafted guys last year. I think Jalen Hurts is an auto pick even without a stack now.
I agree. I agree.
Touchdowns.
He's way underpriced. He is. We don't have a stack set up here. Let's take Michael Wilson or Harold Fannin.
Up to you. I would say maybe Wilson. We have 2 receivers. I don't exactly know how the teardrop happens at wide receiver this year, but yeah, Michael Wilson was a top 5 drafted guy for me last year. Ended up actually, I got like 6th in the big board. And funny enough, because I took a lot of Michael Wilson and a lot of Quentin Johnston, and both of them were on that team. But no part of me thought he was any good. I would take him nonstop in live streams and go, the dude's a bum if you look at his yards per route run, but he's just going to run more routes than anybody else at this range of the draft. And in best ball, maybe he gives 1 to 2 usable weeks. And then he turned out to be pretty good. But if you looked at his early career yards per route run, targets per route run, they never threw him the ball. And he was on the field all the time.
No, it was really bad. That's you know what? That's like wide receiver Woody Marks. Like I knew Woody Marks sucked, but I took Woody Marks all the time because I was like, Joe Mixon doesn't have a foot. Nick Chubb is 38 years old. Dario Ogunbowale can't play.
Yeah, I took a ton of Nick Chubb. I thought it was going to work out. No.
Well, I mean, the playing time is half the battle, right?
Yeah.
And I think the closer you get to the season, the more you can draft for opportunity as opposed to volume. It's I think when you're doing these drafts in February or whatever, it's like pretty fine to draft based on talent. But I mean, I do think the Michael Wilson versus Marvin Harrison Jr. situation is fascinating because it's not like they're going to stop trying to throw Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball. They drafted him 4th overall 2 years ago. Like you cannot minimize that guy.
Yeah. There are just so many players in this range that just look horrible. Like I see Tootin there at 82 and I want to go, oh, that's a garbage pick. But then Kyle Monangai goes the pick after. Like, oh,
and then Blake Corum goes right here.
Yeah. It's like, maybe it's not that bad. Like, dear God.
Okay. I've got I got to apply one more filter. Year of player's career, first 2 seasons. And then I'll actually filter this for just first round picks because I think that makes it more instructive. Because if you do it for if you keep the range too wide, then you get a bunch of guys who just sucked to begin with. So Brian Thomas Jr. first 2 seasons. This is basically like the loose range.
Wait, so are you just averaging out his first 2 seasons?
This is just first 2 years production period. So this is first 2 seasons between 1,700 and 2,400 yards, receiving touchdowns over 10. So you have some guys who totally flamed out. Sammy Watkins, Hakeem Nicks, total flameouts for
Sammy
different
Watkins,
reasons.
one of my favorite players ever.
Yeah, well, he got himself Super Bowl ring in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Calvin Benjamin, another flame out.
Yeah.
Dwayne Bowe.
Calvin Benjamin's honestly a great comp.
Yeah,
not playing style wise, but great rookie
Yes.
season.
All right.
All right,
Can
who
I
do we
interest you? Can I interest you in Mahomes with Rashee?
Yeah, Mahomes and Addison.
Mahomes and Addison. Bang.
So
what's
Minnesota gonna do?
My guess is JJ McCarthy gets to start week 1 with Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton, maybe someone of that ilk. They might just be done though, because I'm curious your take on this. My read is a big reason why Kwesi was fired was he was probably spearheading the JJ McCarthy thing, and KOC was like, "I'm fine with it, but that's not my guy," type thing, and someone had to fall on the sword.
Yeah, I would almost assume that. I assumed it wasn't McCarthy, period. But I could be wrong.
It's just it's really hard to bail on a first round pick in general. It's just very hard to bail on a first round pick, and it's really hard to bail on a first round pick at quarterback.
It wasn't a Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson.
No, fair. He was
top 3 pick. It's more of the Josh Rosen range.
Yes, it was more the Josh Rosen range.
Rosen, Dwayne Haskins, like the mid first rather than the true top 3 pick.
Yeah, and I mean, Justin Jefferson did say something the other day. I'm gonna butcher it. It wasn't like he wasn't burying him, but he was like basically like, we have to get better quarterback play. Like I can't go through another year of that being Justin Jefferson and averaging 8.6 yards per target or whatever. I mean, McCarthy to his credit, he did get a little bit better towards the end of the season, like just a smidgen better. I mean, he ended with 6.7 YPA in the entirety of the season, which is like, it's not great, but it's
I think the adjusted YPA was like 4.5 though. No, off the top of my head, I could be wrong.
5.4 adjusted yards per attempt. Okay. Yeah, really bad. And I think he had some fumbles too, so it's probably even worse. If Mac Jones was a free agent and they didn't have to give up a pick for him, I would assume that's what they would do because of the.
Why wouldn't they try to trade for a quarterback? If the new GM they have no ties whatsoever.
I assume the reason they wouldn't do it is because the anyone they'd actually want to acquire would be like a second round pick, I think, to get. Like the 49ers would not give you Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Because this turf toe thing.
What would Kyler cost? Can we go Goddard for Hurts?
Yes. We can do Goddard. And I like taking some stabs on Travis Hunter. I also do really like
Travis Hunter would be my pick here.
Bang. All right.
I mean, I wasn't underweight, or I was like 8% Travis Hunter last year, but 11th round seems very, very, very reasonable for him.
I mean, you're like whoever you take in the 11th round is probably going to suck anyways, if you're just honest about it. And sure, Hunter might spend more time being a cornerback than you'd like, but even as like a wide receiver 4 type, he's still probably pretty valuable. And they might trade. I mean, there's been rumors about them trading Brian Thomas Jr. It's kind of hard for me to imagine them doing that, but it's possible.
Yeah. But I mean, here he's going 2 picks ahead of Kenneth Gainwell. Who cares?
He's going, look, God love him. Khalil Shakir is like the most useless player in fantasy football. He's played with Josh Allen his whole life, and he's never gotten 20 half PPR points in a game. He's going after Khalil Shakir, so I think at that point it's basically
played with Josh Allen forever and had nobody else to compete with.
Like they sat Keon Coleman's ass on the bench. They said, "You're out, bro," and he still did absolutely nothing. Yeah, so I think the risk reward there on Hunter is, I mean, it's pretty good.
Is there any hope with Matthew Golden?
Dude, I'm like honestly mad that playoff game happened. Because I would like that's the type of thing where you can just write a guy off after that rookie season. But you know what his yards per route run is after that playoff game?
What?
It got up to like 1.57, which is like bad.
It's not good.
Dude, but it would have been like under a yard. It would have been like 1.2, I think, without that last game.
Let me pull this up before I just say something that's blatantly false, but I believe Jaden Reed's never finished as a top 36 wide receiver in points per game.
He probably did as a rookie in points per game.
Wide receiver 27, sorry. That was the best in full PPR.
Jaden Reed he has fake stats too because he is not a full-time player.
Yeah, he doesn't play. His career high snap rate 64%. Like I would never take. I mean, I hate saying like I would never take this player here because they all look bad to me, like on first look. But like Jaden Reed's somebody that I really wouldn't have any interest in whatsoever. Like I just don't see where the ceiling is.
Matthew Golden topped Jaden Reed's career high in snap share in his third game.
Yeah.
Straight up. I liked Matthew Golden as a prospect, so I'm like sometimes you just gotta eat it. Like sometimes you're not right. I'm
surprised you liked him. The numbers out of Texas are horrible.
Well, I love dudes who are fast. I love dudes who are fast. like Zachariah Branch and Casey Concepcion are like this year's Matthew Goldens, and one of them is going to end up being a first round pick, and they're probably both going to be terrible, but they're also both probably going to run 4.2 something. Branch for sure.
They'll be better in the NFL than they are in fantasy.
It's like that kind of used to be the thing that people would say about him, but like some of these dudes just suck. Like some of these guys are just like actively detracting. All right, we should take a running back. Do you want to take Kamara, Mason, Tajay Spears, Braylon Allen, Aaron Jones for an old guy?
Up to you.
Corain really likes Kamara, so that's what we'll do. And then can I sell you on Malik Willis here?
Is that Jaden Higgins? I'm sorry, my picture's cut off.
Yes.
I would do Jaden Higgins would be my pick.
Bang. Sure. Jaden Higgins.
I would rather have Jaden Higgins than Kamara. I actually like Jaden Higgins here more than a couple players that went ahead of him.
100%. I think it's very funny that the market is kind of treating Higgins' mini breakout at the end like it wasn't real.
How different, and you're going to hate me saying this, but how different truly is Jaden Higgins and Luther Burden?
Well, it's pretty different. Pretty different. Luther Burden's breakout game was a huge breakout. Luther Burden's breakout game was like, it was a lot. I got to look up exactly how many points it was. Luther Burden had 2.3 yards per route run. What do we think Jaden Higgins' yards per route run was? We're going to find out. I'm going to guess off the top of my head, I'm going to guess 1.8 for Jaden Higgins. And that might
may even be high.
That may even be high.
Yeah, 1.52.
Ooh, so a worse yards per route run than Matthew Golden. I mean, imagine that. Now, granted, Jaden Higgins was a starting player for a playoff team. So I'm not meaning to disparage him, and Luther Burden is getting a little bit of that Kadarius Toney special sauce where your yards per route run looks better if you don't run that many routes.
Yeah, Luther Burden had a 12% target share.
Yeah.
I know he didn't get on the field till the end, but
well, honestly, I actually don't know. I want to look at his targets per route run because that to me is a little bit more useful with these part-time guys because like Zacchaeus is not going to be on the team, right?
Yeah.
And DJ Moore also might not be on the team. In fact, I think DJ Moore probably will find himself in, depending on your perspective, either some greener or some less green pastures. Let's see if I do Luther Burden. God, Puka Nakua's targets per route run, some of the most insane stuff you're ever going to see. Luther Burden, not on the, honestly, this is surprising to me, not on the first page in targets per route run. Luther Burden, 23% targets per route run. So like pretty good, not like elite. So it's kind of fine.
Yeah, at these costs, I'll definitely have a lot more Jaden Higgins than Burden.
That's fine. I think, I mean, that's just very defensible. Like, you're buying on, you're betting the straight draw with Burden. You're not betting a made hand.
But like, a hot take is I don't think that they were that far apart as prospects. I think they are very similar prospects coming out.
Well, remember, I mean, Burden was like kind of like a fake good prospect because he got outproduced by Theo Wees his final season at Mizzou because he was dogging it.
Yeah,
like Luther Burden gave up on football like halfway through his final season at Mizzou because he didn't like his coach.
The Devi people loved him after. Oh, is Jonathan Brooks going to be anything at all?
I mean, my read would be yes. Do you like free agent Rachaad White?
Oh yeah, I would love Rachaad White here.
All right, Rachaad White, and then just
I may like Rachaad White more than Kamara.
Do you think Travis Kelce's going to play football this year?
Yeah, you would know you would have a way better insight on that.
You can give this one out to the people for free. Travis Kelce's playing football this year. I think he was ready to retire. I think he completely was ready to ride off into the sunset. Imagine having the career you had in your last game. Chris Olave was the starting quarterback. Your last game was a 12-9 victory with no touchdowns against the Denver Broncos. Mahomes couldn't even be at the stadium because he was getting treatment on his torn knee. That's going to be your goodbye to football? I don't know, brother.
The lowest point the Kansas City Chiefs have had in 10 years.
It's great. Like, and that is, I mean, like, these are human decisions. Like, do I want to play football? Do I not want to play football? Pretty human decision to be like, I would probably like to play again. I don't want that to be my last game.
Well, that's what the fiance worked on Happy Gilmore too, and she said Travis Kelce was like the nicest person there. So I've actually met him, and he is literally like, he's just the nicest dude. He's like, just very happy and amenable. Like, it's one of those guys where you want to root for him.
I do definitely want to root for him, but you meet some of these guys and their public persona is very different than their private persona. Like like, the worst thing is like you see someone you admire and they're like mean to a waiter at a restaurant or something. And you're like, oh damn, like, you just suck. And like that's a horrible experience. And like, that was not my experience with Kelce. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
So I think he's playing almost for sure. I want to get your take on Malik Willis, because he's going to get like a pretty big contract, I think, like, surprisingly. Like, he's going to get close to the Sam Darnold contract for someone, probably the Dolphins, maybe the Cardinals, maybe the Vikings. You buy it?
Just some like normie podcast, like sports podcast that I listened to, they were saying this.
Mm-hmm. They're telling you the truth.
The thing is, my assumption, and of course, I'm completely talking out of my ass here, I know nothing, is he is probably a very bad real-life quarterback. But if he's going to be a starting QB, and I just pulled it up, every game he starts, he looks like he's running 40 to 70 yards.
For sure.
So for fantasy purposes, he can be horrible. And if you take him next to CJ Stroud, he can have more points.
We got to see what Malik Willis starting games with a clueless offensive coordinator looked like in 2022. And it was really some of the worst football you're ever going to see. 10 pass attempts, 16 pass attempts, 23 pass attempts, no games with over 100 passing yards, no passing touchdowns, 3 picks. This is what it looks like when Malik Willis, who would have been the offensive coordinator for, I have no idea, for the 2022, Todd Downing, he of New York Jets fame, was the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans under head coach Mike Vrabel then. Yeah. So I think it's going to be much better for him, but I don't think Malik Willis is like one of the 15 best quarterbacks in football by any means.
Real quick with Hawkinson, is he just done from the injuries?
I think he's just cooked. I think he just got to that. He's injured his knee so many times. Are there any starting quarterbacks left, or are we stuck with 2? We got Ty Simpson, we got Rodgers, we got Cousins. Any of them? I think Rodgers is probably the best bet here.
Well, I would prefer a third quarterback. These are 20-round drafts, right?
Yes, we just took Terrence Ferguson as our third tight end.
Oh, I took a lot of Terrence Ferguson last year. Did not work out.
We've got Rodgers. I actually think Marcus Mariota probably is also a very good bet to be a starting quarterback.
Whatever you want, but I would prefer a third quarterback if you can.
Yeah. No, I always take 3 quarterbacks in these. Let's see. What does Karain have ranked for the quarterbacks?
We got Lane.
We got Jacoby Lane. I mean, that's fine. Those quarterbacks will still be around. I actually like Jacoby Lane. I think Jacoby Lane is currently being underrated.
Can you give me a quick rundown of this rookie class? Because my assumption of it is Love is really good. The top 3 receivers are really good. And then everybody else is supposed to be bad.
Everyone else is varying degrees of either if you want to take a glass half empty approach, they're all really bad. If you want to take a glass half full approach, you'd say they're all very interesting. So you've got Kenyon Sadiq, who is like a poor production but going to be great measurables tight end. He's probably going to be like a top 50 pick. You've got Jonah Coleman from Washington, the running back, who I think is like, to me, he's like if Kareem Hunt went to a big school instead of Toledo. I actually think he looks pretty good. Then you've got Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Surratt, Branch, Omar Cooper, like just these wide receivers who are kind of like, well, if one of them goes to a really good spot, if one of them gets drafted by the Bengals, if one of them gets drafted by the Vikings with a new quarterback or the 49ers or something, then we'll all be into them. But like if Chris Bell gets drafted by the Raiders, we're like, I totally don't care. Yeah.
And
it's the running backs that are bad. The running backs are like, I don't know, man. After like 4 of them, I'm like, these are all day 3 picks, basically.
Mm-hmm. You know what's really gross here, but I almost think that those running backs that were taken around 16, the Mixon, Bigsby, Brian Robinson range, are the exact same as the guys that were going to like round 13.
100%. It's just that guys have to go in some order, but I completely agree with you. I mean,
I would almost rather take the quarterback in round 13 and then just get whatever garbage running backs left in round 16.
No, I think you're probably right. I mean, Brian Robinson Jr. is an unrestricted free agent and probably gets, I mean, he just got traded for a 3rd round pick. Like he actually probably does get paid a good bit. All right. Rodgers goes. So we are going to be stuck with, I mean, Mario, there is, I forget the connection.
So why not Tua?
Mariota has a real specific connection to KOC, to Kevin O'Connell, is the big one that people are reading as the tea leaves there. Part of the reason I don't necessarily want to do Tua is because of the way Tua's contract works. It's very possible that he just gets stuck on the bench all year for the Dolphins.
Can we do Ray Davis here?
We can. All pro kick returner Ray Davis, Mason. People forget Pro Bowler.
I mean, he has the safe spot on the roster.
Round. Yes, yeah. I mean, they're not gonna cut him. No chance. It's just they just play Ty Johnson over him for whatever reason.
One of the worst things I did this past year, 2 of these players, both Mixon and Caleb Johnson, I faded early in the offseason. And then whenever they both fell like 4 rounds in ADP, Mixon obviously more, I was like, ooh, let me scoop the dip and have the ADP value on them compared to the early offseason drafts. And then I ended up like balanced / slightly overweight because I was just taking them so much the final 2 weeks before the season just to get absolute zeros.
I mean, it's the it was the year of the internet rumor, Mason. Joe Mixon did indeed like shoot his foot off. There still have no confirmation exactly what happened to his foot. Najee Harris did blow fireworks up in his face.
The Najee thing is the Najee thing is one of the craziest things to happen in fantasy football, I feel.
Oh man, my background light just died. I guess I must have unplugged it. Very, very unprofessional of me. So
I think it looks good, brother.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, your first draft here, man. What are just your gut instinct? What is the board looking like to you? Do you think everyone is doing something very obviously wrong? Because I think there are a lot of things people are doing very obviously wrong, and they're just doing it unthinkingly because this is the order that players go in, and that just is what it is. And they don't want to take a guy 50 spots ahead of ADP or whatever.
Let me look.
I think I'll tell you a couple things I think people are doing obviously wrong. Tyreek Hill in the 15th round, either he's completely cooked and it's over and he's just not playing, in which case he shouldn't be drafted, or he's Tyreek Hill just a little bit less efficient. I mean, Tyreek Hill was averaging 13.5 points per game last year in a year where everyone decided he sucked, so he should go like 20 spots higher. Kayshon Boutte is undraftable. He is going to be like the wide receiver 5 on the Patriots.
I like that take.
He's one of the worst. Like, all due respect, but he's awful. I mean, he just is so bad. It's like almost insane. Tyler Shuck, if Tyler Shuck had been a first round pick, he'd be going ahead of Bo Nix. He was like awesome for fantasy last year. He runs, and the offensive line is like really good, actually, which no one knows. No one knows this about the Saints, but their offensive line is actually really good. I mean, that's just a couple of things I think people are doing way wrong.
I would say that with the 20, it almost seems more appealing for me to go with the late round quarterback and tight ends early on.
Yes.
And then in BBM specifically, there take the elite tight end or the elite quarterback.
Yeah, no, I think you're strategically right on it. All right, damn, I was gonna teach you a name, but my dude got selected here. So, I don't know, any of these running backs looking any good to you?
Took a lot of Kareem Hunt last year. I don't know if that's you're gonna be able to do that.
We're gonna take Isaiah Davis just because he's there. I was gonna have us take Adam Randall, who is a converted wide receiver to running back who weighs 235 pounds, plays for Clemson. He's like the one running back prospect that I'm like actually very excited about relative to where he's going to be drafted. He's
like Antonio Gibson.
Well, sadly, Antonio Gibson was actually very good at both positions in college, and Adam Randall was kind of just he was a good running back, but he was a pretty average wide receiver. More similar to Brashard Smith, actually, where Brashard was a pretty middling wide receiver and then a good running back. Gibson was actually very good at both.
I loved Gibson, especially after the combine.
So I've been toying with like a prospect model, just just kind of wanting to see what goes into it and doing the back testing and everything. And anyone who gets into prospect modeling learns that like the only thing that correlates with NFL success for running backs is how good they are at receiving in college. So like Antonio Gibson, in the first run I did of it was literally like the 6th best prospect of all time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, all right. It's not quite right. We got some more tweaking to do.
Yeah, got a little tinkering. Yeah, with rookie running backs, literally all I care about is like draft capital, size, receiving ability in college, and then athleticism.
Yeah. Like, give me Ras over 210 pounds, and did you catch passes? I mean, what if I told you, Mason, that the running back 2 in this year's class, and maybe is going to be a 2nd round pick, caught 15 total passes in college?
Be a little scary.
It's a little scary. Yeah. It's a little scary. All right. The team we drafted: Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Cam Scatterbo, Alvin Kamara. You know what? I wish we would have taken that Kamara pick back and just taken a quarterback, actually. I think because instead of Kamara, we could have taken Malik Willis. Yeah. Should have just done that. Rashee Rice, Jalen Waddle, Michael Wilson, Jordan Addison, Travis Hunter, Jaden Higgins, Jacoby Lane, Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelce, T. Ferg. Super, super bullish Terrence Ferguson quote from Sean McVay just dropped today, actually.
Well, if this team's going to do anything, Travis Hunter has to be what people thought he was going to be last year. This wide receiver room's buns.
I mean, there could be a move in free agency or in the draft or whatever. Like, the Jaguars signed a cornerback to a 4-year 90. I mean, don't make me name a cornerback, but they sign like the most expensive corner in free agency, or they draft a corner in the 1st round or whatever, and then all of a sudden Travis Hunter is going to go way back up. He's down here in the 13th round because of one quote from James Gladstone.
Can you explain to me real quick what the strategy is behind drafting 3,000 teams? Are you doing 3,000 drafted teams on live streams?
No.
Okay.
No. There's not enough hours in the day. My strategy behind drafting all these teams is threefold. First is it's pretty good branding to just be like known as like the grinder guy. Like, oh, that guy's the grinder. He grinds. It's what he does. Two, a lot of my deals that I do with these sites, the easiest thing for them to give me is site credit. I mean, I'm getting paid real dollars too.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting down to negotiate with a company and you're like, okay, can I get paid X amount of money? They're like, yeah, sure. And then on top of that, I go, okay, well, can I get X amount of site credit? And generally speaking, when these people go back to their bosses to get the
site credit is
deal
monopoly
approved,
money. They don't care.
They don't give a shit. So they're just happy to give it to me. And then threefold is it's all about shots. It's all about shots on net. Like the more teams you draft, the greater likelihood there is of you win. It doesn't change your EV. The amount, like you could do as many entries as you want. The EV of them stays the same, but you can't
hear me out though.
Yes,
one big dog draft equals 100 puppies, and it saves a hell of a lot of time.
So I am going to be doing more of the single entry and the I did multiple big dogs last year. I did some of the 3-3-3s and stuff. Like I will be in all of those. But yes, I mean you are 100% right.
Yeah, that's what I just try to get in as many of, like whenever underdog drops like the Great Dane or something like that. I just make sure I max those out.
Those are mandatory. I mean, if you're not in the Great Dane, the Hound Dog, the Gold, like those are the most mandatory tournaments to enter. Yeah,
I think I had like 6 week 17 teams last year, and a lot of it's just because I didn't draft a ton of puppy teams. You know what I mean? It's like just drafting teams in the smaller fields.
So I drafted, I did a decent amount of auto drafts last year. And it's very, very funny because auto drafting, you can advance just fine, but it will basically be determined on your stances of one of the 7 players who mattered in a given year.
Yeah.
One set of my auto drafts that I did, it was the day Kayshon Judkins, I believe the news was he's not going to be suspended or the charges got dropped. So I moved him back up to where he should be ranked, and I didn't do any adjustments. So I got 85% of Kayshon Judkins. Yeah. That was the only change I made, and I advanced 40% of my teams over that subset because he was a huge win there, which, I mean, does make you question why am I spending so much time on this if adjusting one guy can have that much of an impact on advance rates. But maybe my running backs were just really good on those teams. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, I did max out the marathon and the eliminator, but I just did those as slows, and then I would just wake up and have 50 draft picks I had to make, it was hell.
Yes. So that is why I use this tool right here. That's why I use the Sidekick, so that I can do like infinity slow drafts. And because I mean, you've done this, you do the slow draft and then you're like, okay, what was I stacking here? Who is I doing? And then it's just like, okay, well, I woke up 30 minutes ago and I've made 50 draft picks. And like, this is not a healthy way to live. So I need to do something else. All right. What's coming with the Flock League this year? I mean, you're going to have to make it even bigger and better than you did last year. You guys gonna like rent a yacht? Like, I mean, how big are we gonna make this thing?
I got some fun ideas. Here's one idea I'll give you. I haven't even pitched this to the other creators in the league. We're gonna have new characters, of course. I have to keep some things up my sleeve, but I don't think you don't go on Instagram Reels or anything like that, I'm sure.
No, I have to protect my sanity in some ways. So I do not do short form vertical video.
Well, there's a big trend of people that will do like if they lose their fantasy league, just like normie leagues, right? Which is what I'm trying to make this the most like. It's just like a league where people play in one league and it's like their league with their high school buddies or whatever. They lose the league and they have to do like 30 embarrassing TikTok/Instagram reels or whatever. Like a dumb example is somebody will record themselves like in their car going like, POV, you're on a date with fine lady and the radio cuts off. And it's like playing some Katy Perry song. And then all of a sudden you have to sing the second half of the song. And you post it. And these reels are getting like 100,000 likes, and the entire Instagram account will just be fantasy football punishment 12 of 30. Because when you lose the league, you got to do 30 of these.
Oh my God.
What I'm thinking is, because I think what we're going to try to do this next year is make more videos and more often rather than just 2 like montage style videos. Whoever's the lowest scoring team in the league every week, we have what's called like the wheel of shame, and you have to spin the wheel of shame and it lands on, I have like bookmarked 50 of these embarrassing things that you have to record. And then if the lowest scoring person it lands on, oh, you got to do this. They have to record it, post it across all socials. And one, I think it would be super embarrassing, and 2, I think it would be great natural promo, and they're not going to want to do it, but I'm going to have to do something like also just to get them to buy in, like, oh, also high score every week gets $1,000 or something, that way you have additional sweats going on every week rather than who's going to win, who's going to lose. But then inside each video, people can also be sweating. Are they going to get the high score and get $1,000 for that week? Or are they going to get the low score and have to do the wheel of shame? So I think trying to tie in additional sweats into the league itself, it's going to be a good option.
I love the concept of additional sweats. I also love the concept of additional sweats on top of something that these guys like already really care about. Like this does become your most important league. If you're sweating it that hard, like, dude, imagine one of these guys having to post, like, imagine like Salvetri or Ron having to do one, like, oh my God, dude, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah. That is really good. I like it.
It'll be fun. And then the punishment this year is, and it's probably gonna be the same thing next year too. And it's just like trying to tie in whatever punishment, make it legit bad, but also make it into content as well. Is the loser of the league from this past year is Danny from this channel called Fantasy Stock Exchange. And he's going to have to live stream for 20, when we all come to Austin the week before the draft, he's going to have to live stream from Denny's for 24 hours of him being there. And we'll set him up with a computer where he can only do drafts. We'll make him only do drafts on our site, for 24 hours, and have him just sitting there eating pancakes and stuff to knock time off. So
that's really good. Those are all insanely good content ideas. I love it. And I'm not interested in I'm not applying to the league because nothing, honestly, I am so I would be so phobic of having to do a recorded punishment across all social media. I would like honestly, the negative sweat would tilt me too much. I don't even think I would enjoy it.
Well, I'll say it's the most fun I've had playing fantasy football in literally forever. Like fantasy football clearly has been my entire life. Like that's why I started a YouTube channel, never thinking I'd make a literal penny from it. But it's always been my favorite thing, and I want to talk about it as much as I can. But this league has made it where it's 10 times more fun because I've never had like one specific league where I'm like, this is the one I care most about. Because in the past, it's been like, oh, I have these 30 leagues. They're all about the same. I just want to make money from it. And then I have my underdog sweats that I don't really even check until week 16, week 17, But now having like
100%.
the one thing where it's like, oh, we're like week 16, say I have like 4 teams that can advance to the big dog in week 17, like go crazy dollars up, a ton of underdog sweats for like crazy high dollar. And I'm sweating the my matchup in the Flock League more than anything, which it's made things really, really fun. And it's made me care about fantasy football even more than I did, to be honest.
Well, because duplicating the feel of the home league is like impossible. Like the conditions have to be so good for you to care that much about it. Like I still sweat my home league like crazy because of the same thing you're saying. It's like the law of large numbers takes over my best ball teams. Like it would be schizophrenic of me to try and like track all of these things. Yeah. Like I look at my teams during the season, but not while the slate is going on, like not on Sunday, because there's just too much going on. So yeah, it's a very good feeling. And I don't, that style of content too is also very good. Because like the thing in our corner of the internet is all the stuff we do washes out and is done and is disposable within a week.
It's not 24 hours. Sometimes the live stream's like done 3 hours after it's made. Yes.
And when you do something like that, like I'm not saying the Flock League is going to it's not going to be like Bryson's YouTube channel in terms of rewatchability, but someone who got into it could easily go watch a prior season and skip around. Sure. Yeah.
And we see that too. But yeah, I'll say like definitely at the risk of sounding like a complete arrogant asshole, I think it's going to be the biggest thing to ever happen to fantasy football. And I think it's going to elevate the space in a big time way. Like the big goal this next year is trying to get other people from other corners of the internet in the league as new characters, to try to just get fantasy football significantly more exposure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I didn't do my reaction video last year after although Nick's got like a billion views. I'll wait 72 hours. 72 hours, is that good?
Brother, more? You do whatever you want. The only thing that annoyed me is like, hey, you have my phone number. You couldn't have shot me a little text. We talk. We talk regularly. You couldn't have shot me a text rather than just ripping this 2 hours after.
He was farming views. He did it. He got a billion views. It was his 1 out of 10. Those of you who don't know,
it's the 1 out of a million. It's the best video he's ever done. It's
it's farming views off my guy. I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, it helped. I like Nick. Appreciate him. I was just annoyed at the time, and I just had a bunch of people reaching out to me too, going, "This sucks. You need to do something." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "What the hell do you want me to do about this?"
Well, it would have been different if it was a video that was on your channel versus on the second channel, because that's just how things work. Like things gravitate towards the bigger channels. But yeah, I'm already practicing my shocked face to put on the perfect shocked face to put on the thumbnail. I've never done a reaction video before. I can't imagine that it's going to be any more difficult than trying to make February fantasy football drafts seem interesting to people. In fact, probably easier to do. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Well, appreciate you, my guy.
All right, everyone, if you have not already, check out the Flock Fantasy website. Plenty of tools to be had there. Obviously, you guys know who Mason is. You guys know about his YouTube channel. Are you guys making any new improvements or additions to the Flock Fantasy website this year?
I can, if you want me to share my screen, I'll run through some stuff real quick.
Yeah,
I mean, they're pushing updates every single week. That's obvious. There have been over 270,000 drafts done on the site because they're just public free mock drafts for people to do.
Already been done this year for this season?
No, not this year. We launched that last redraft season. If there were 270,000 drafts on the site this year, we'd be bigger than Underdog. There's no way.
Yeah, I was about to say, shit, man, I gotta get some new inputs to my ranking model. I gotta get the Flock Fantasy inputs.
But yeah, so just simple stuff like you can go through and say like when you were searching the Malik Willis rushing stats, right? You can go ahead and just like search Malik Willis, see whatever you want to see about any stats. Super easy, in my opinion, and honestly a little bit more clear, just given the conditional formatting that you have on the colors. You can see the range of outcomes tool. So if you want to see like what running backs were comparable to Bijan Robinson at 23 years old, since I think this data goes back to 2008, you have like McCaffrey from 2019, Todd Gurley from 2017, Zeke from 2018. See what they did the following year. You can actually see this as well just by clicking their player card, and then it automatically pulls in there. What else is there?
That's a very useful tool for a lot of people, because like I know how to do that with like publicly available tools, but most people would have no clue how to start to run that.
Exactly, and it's just a simple click, and you can do it a couple different ways too. So like one thing that you can do as well is you can just search like, oh, I want to see which wide receivers led the league in receptions this past year. You can hit the reception total, it sorts it. We have a bunch of different stats you can pull in that you want. You can filter down, say like, oh, I only want to look at wide receivers that were 25 years old and younger. And you can go ahead and see like, oh, these were the wide receivers with that age requirement that led the league in receptions. You can go ahead and add end zone targets, contested targets, whatever the hell you want to see. So you can compare players. Say you want to go ahead and see just a quick little view of Quentin Johnston versus
Quentin Johnston.
Ladd McConkey last year. You can just get a quick sense. You can go through.
Quentin Johnston frame-mogged Ladd McConkey last year. Spiked Ladd McConkey's cortisol, that's for sure.
Exactly. Well, Ladd McConkey was Jester Maxing. And you can like do different time periods, right? You want to see the first half of the season, weeks 1 through 9. You can see the second half of the year. So I would say, and the goal with the site that I'm doing right now, like what we're working on, is I spend all day researching fantasy football stuff. I know what tools people use. I know what tools are useful. I want to make those tools easier to use, look a lot better, because most of these sites haven't been updated since 2010, 2015. So showing them in a live stream or showing them in a video, I can't really do, right? Because if I'm if I'm trying to make a video that a lot of people who don't interact with those tools regularly use, and I show it, they're going to have no idea what the hell's going on, you know? So it's just a easy way to go through, use complicated fantasy tools, research any stat that you want, and it's automatically put into a graphic that's easily shareable in a video or a live stream, which helps me and my workflow a ton.
I mean, I obviously not to take people too far inside baseball, but yeah, having the ability to display something on screen that looks good for a video and you own it is huge, because I spend all day with all these tools that I don't own and have to try and make them look good for a video. So yeah. I get it. It's pretty nice.
All that stuff I showed is free, brother. You can use it whenever you want. If not,
maybe we'll have to rebrand. No free lunch, Pro Football Focus. No free lunch around here. I'm changing. We're going full flock fantasy all the time.
One thing we're gonna do too that's cool is for like if you say you wanted to grow your socials for the creators on the site, and you can host your rankings on the site if you want. I'll get you access. But we are making automated PDFs where if you have your rankings hosted, say you had your top 30 underdog rankings or whatever, you can go ahead and go to the create rankings page, hit export as PDF. It'll export your rankings in tiers into different PDFs that you can immediately post on Instagram, immediately post on Twitter, TikTok, whatever you want. So in the past, like say I had to, all the creators on the site had to hire graphic designers. Now it's like, and hire somebody to manage their socials. And it takes a lot of time to do that, which sometimes you don't have the time to do during the season, right? If it has to be a quick turnaround for like week 7 rankings. Now all that stuff can be automated where you can get it out in real time, and rather than having to wait for somebody to make the graphic.
That's very sharp. That's huge. Yeah. My man is on the forefront. My guy Mason is on the forefront, guys. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. Everyone, I got to go back to being a dad. Make sure that you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you are very excited for watching the Flock League, and we'll be back with all of you guys